you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today is going to be a Q&A video. I haven't done one of these in quite a while, and since I just hit a fun milestone here on YouTube with 5,000 subscribers, I thought that this would be a fun thing to do. First of all, thank you so much to my subscribers. I've said this before, but I never thought in a million years that I would enjoy running a YouTube channel, and here we are. Thank you for subscribing, for liking my videos, sharing my content, all the things, because it really does mean a lot. So the other day I asked you guys for some questions here on YouTube and in my Instagram stories, and you guys sent some good ones. I was thinking I might get some questions like, what's your favorite color? Or what brand of running shoes do you like? But no, you guys asked some harder questions, good questions, but made me think a little bit more. I also shared a picture last week. I have been a little bit out of commission the past few days, not completely useless, but I've got this big thing on my dominant hand, which has made normal tasks much more difficult. So I went in for surgery on my wrist last week for what I thought was going to be a cyst removal. For the past 3 years or so, I've had this. I was told that these things sometimes go away, dissolve, heal themselves. Well, it didn't, and it just got bigger and more painful over the years, and I was losing range of motion in my wrist. So the next step was to have it removed. Turns out there were actually tumors in my wrist. So the doctor removed those and cleaned everything up. I got the results back yesterday that there's no malignancy or anything, so hopefully within a week or so I will get this thing off and be on my way to good as new. I will possibly have to follow up with a rheumatologist to make sure nothing else is going on, but for now, that is what has been going on with my wrist. Okay, so that was one question. Let's jump into the other questions that you guys asked. So what brought you to start your YouTube channel and blog? I get asked this question often. My original goal was never to do YouTube or a blog. Back in, I think it was 2019, I started Homeschool Style Co., which is an online shop where I sell homeschool themed t-shirts and mugs. And I started to meet a lot of other homeschool bloggers online through networking and marketing because I had an affiliate program for my shop, and we would collaborate through different events. And I started blogging myself then after a little while, kind of as a way to market my shirt company. The blog actually used to be attached to that website. But then as we continued homeschooling, I found blogging to be a fun way to connect with other moms, share some tips and resources. I started creating some digital products and really just enjoyed writing blog posts. So it kind of just started to take a life of its own. It's been a lot of work. There is a lot more work involved than I ever thought blogging was when I started taking this on, but it's been a great experience. And as far as YouTube, my husband actually encouraged me to do it. I didn't want to, but I started to have some opportunities come in for sponsored content through my blog, so I figured I would give it a try. And now I really love this too. I like the creative part of this more than actually being on camera, but it has been just another fun skill to learn and challenge myself with. And it's been another great way to connect with other homeschool moms as well, and hopefully be an encouragement or give some help to the community. Okay, next question. Were you homeschooled or public schooled, and how was your experience? I was not homeschooled. I regretfully remember working with a girl. I had a job at an ice cream shop when I was younger, and she was homeschooled, and I thought that was really weird. I grew up in public school. I met my husband in public school. We were in the marching band together, and I didn't know a lot about homeschooling. You know, my overall experience with school was pretty good. I even became a public school teacher and taught high school math for about 8 years. Never thought I would be homeschooling, and I can see God's hand all over this journey I've had for the past 10 years or so. My life would be completely different right now if it wasn't for him. Okay, next, this is a parenting question. Do you have any boy potty training advice? I'm on the struggle bus with my 3-year-old. He is not interested at all. I feel like my girls were really easy to potty train. They just decided one day that they wanted to be potty trained and I didn't have to do much. But for my son, I remember we tried a couple things. We tried the advice of just putting him in underwear because they'll want to keep it clean and they'll go to the bathroom, but that didn't work well. What we ended up doing was setting a timer for like 30 minutes. And every 30 minutes, we would take him to the bathroom and sit him on the toilet. And we were very religious about this, every 30 minutes. And then we added on maybe 15 minutes. So we would take him every 45 minutes. We just got done doing this with our new puppy too, and it worked really well. So I recommend giving this a try if you can schedule some time to be at home for a few days so you can be really consistent with this. I think we also did a reward, like we gave an M&M or something every time he went, and it didn't seem to take too many days for him to get the hang of it after that. So that's what I would recommend if you have not tried something like this. Okay, have your kids ever completed a foreign language other than Latin? And if so, what online program or curriculum did you use? We have not done any other foreign language right now. The plan is to continue Latin through high school. Things can change, but right now, that's the plan. Okay, what is the best homeschool advice you have received? Okay, I thought of 3 things when I read this question. I have received a lot of advice over the years, but 3 things stick out with me. The first was a piece of advice my best friend gave me when I told her that I was feeling the Lord calling me to homeschool our kids, and I was terrified. This will sound cliche, but she told me that if God was calling me to do this, He would equip me. That was so comforting, and I found it to be so true. Another piece of advice that was really meaningful to me was given to me from Carrie Beck of How to Homeschool My Child. She said to be sure that the first thing we do each day is really the most important thing. To make sure that you are prioritizing what's important in your homeschool, that how you are spending your time is reflective of your top values and goals, and that those values are being communicated to your kids. And finally, I remember one year at Teach Them Diligently convention, I went home with the advice that schoolwork was not more important than the connections and the relationship that I have with my kids. I needed to hear that this year. I don't remember who said it, but I think it's so important. Your relationship with your kids is more important than any math assignment or finishing any lesson plan, and we need to keep our priorities in check because it can be really easy to let them get out of order. Okay, next, how is Dad involved in homeschooling? I'd say more than he used to be, but I am the one who does the majority of the homeschooling. Since 2020, we've been lucky to have my husband be able to work from home, and he is available a lot during the day if my kids have questions and I'm busy, or if I need to run an errand, he can kind of take over and make sure the kids are doing the work they need to be doing. Or he'll do things like facilitate a science lesson if I need him to. Typically, that might be if I'm running one kid to an activity or a lesson and just don't have the time to be home and do it. He also helps me with curriculum decisions, and if there's something that needs to be addressed with the kids like work ethic or attitudes, things like that, he will back me up on that and helps address some of those issues so I don't always have to be the one getting on their case about schoolwork. So those are some of the ways he's involved. Like I said, I do the majority of the homeschooling, but it is really, really nice to have him home, have his support, and be able to just have those extra hands when I need them. I know that this isn't always typical, so I feel really lucky that this is our current situation. Okay, since you're the homeschooler, does it feel like you take on the spiritual leadership of the family? Gosh, this is, I don't know, it feels like a hard question because it's true. I feel like I'm more involved in teaching my kids spiritually because I'm with them a lot of the time, during the day. So having a biblical worldview in what we're studying, Bible studies, encouraging them in their quiet time. That's what we do. My husband can't do that throughout the day, but he definitely encourages our family and leads us spiritually in other ways. So I'd say we're a good team, but it's something that I do have to be mindful of because I naturally like to lead and feel that I have a gift of teaching. So it's a role that I definitely have a tendency to step into. And I'd just say that if you're in a spot where you're wanting your husband to take on more of that role as a spiritual leader in your home or having trouble finding that balance, just continue to pray for him and continue teaching your kids how the Lord has called you to do. My husband has a great testimony. He actually was an atheist up until, I think, 2017. And we went through a very trying season, but praise God, he has been changed. God completely changed his heart, and it's just been a really interesting journey to see how the Lord has worked in both of our lives to grow us and continue to grow our relationship with him. Next question was, you seem to have moved away from my father's world with your older kids. Any reason, and will you do the same with Oliver? Yes, I think my father's world was a great fit for us for certain seasons. And this year it just became clear that it wasn't a great fit for us anymore. I've talked about it a bit in past update videos, so I won't go into too many details, but part of it was that I wanted something different for history this year. I just didn't like the books and how things were structured this year, and I knew that the next course would be very similar, so I decided to go ahead and change things up. So it was a lot of little things that when all taken together, it just wasn't worth it to keep going. Nothing wrong with the curriculum, it just isn't the best fit anymore. And yes, same with Oliver. I had thought that I would continue and use the first grade curriculum because it had worked really well for us when I used it with my son and daughters years ago. But when I looked at it now with the perspective of where we are now as a family and where we are in our homeschooling and with the knowledge of other curriculums I've learned about over the years, I'm going to go in a different direction. I think what I loved about it was the family style learning approach in those younger years. It was really great to use with my older 3 kids together when they were younger. So if you're looking for something like that in your homeschool or in your curriculum, it might be a really good option for you. Okay, talk all things dual enrollment, high school plans, transcripts, and any honors classes. This will probably be a lot of future videos. I can't talk much about this right now. I'm sorry. My oldest will be in 8th grade next year, and I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on high school planning. Definitely stay tuned though. I'm sure, like I said, I'll be sharing a lot about all of this as we begin navigating some of these things over the next couple of years. Do you have any recommendations for an online art class? This would be for a high school elective. The only online art class I have personal experience with is creating a masterpiece. I really like this curriculum. I used it with my kids for about 2 years, I think. I guess it kind of depends on what art you want to do or how much experience your child has with art already. If you're looking for a live class, I'd recommend checking out My Fun Science. They have some great options, and you might also check out Udemy. If you are watching this and have any suggestions for online art classes, feel free to leave them in the comments below because that's all I got. Okay, I had a couple of questions about BJU Press. So do you have any tips for your first year using this curriculum? So the first year we used BJU Press, they didn't have the Homeschool Hub yet. I think this makes using the curriculum so easy and really helps you stay organized and on top of things. Some of the BJU Press lessons can be really long. They're very thorough and rigorous in my opinion, so don't be afraid to trim things down if needed. For example, sometimes my kids maybe didn't watch the video lesson if they didn't need to and they just worked on their assignment. We did this a lot for handwriting and spelling, I think. Or I would only assign select problems to complete and not the entire assignment. So just be flexible with it and remember that you don't have to do everything exactly as it comes, and be willing to adjust for your kids as needed. Sometimes we need permission to do that. And then I got this, what are your thoughts on BJU Math? is it just procedural, or do they teach the why as well? I think they do a great job of teaching the why, and I think it's a good curriculum. To be honest, there probably aren't many curriculums that I'd say are terrible. It just depends on what you like and what works for your kids. I remember having to cut down a lot of our math lessons when we used it because they were very long. And even if your kids are using the online video lessons, it's really important to follow up with them and check their work to make sure that they are understanding it. That's one of the reasons that I like CTC Math and why that has helped us so much. It's because it will check my kids' work on the computer as they go, so they can fix mistakes immediately and they don't complete an entire assignment the wrong way before finding out they did it wrong. That being said, I definitely prefer how BJU Press integrates a biblical worldview into math. So, all of that being said, I think it's a solid option for math. For me personally, if I had just one child or had this schedule to where I could teach all of my kids in a traditional way, I would probably still be using BJU Press Math. We used it from 2nd to 4th grade with my girls and 3rd through half of 5th grade with my son. We did the online video lessons, and I think it gave them a good, solid foundation to build on. Okay, we're almost there, you guys. Suggestions for an 8th grade boy that wants to learn computer stuff and has a mom that is clueless. Well, I am clueless about this stuff too. So I did go to my husband, who is a computer programmer, and I'm going to relay his response to you guys. He said, it really depends on what computer stuff means. It could mean programming or maybe building computers or even something like gaming, right? So if your child is interested in programming, he says that learning Python is great for problem solving and automation, while Scratch, Unity, or Godot are great choices if your child is interested in game development. My son did a course over the summer with CodeWizards HQ, and he just wanted to try out some things to see if he liked it. I highly recommend them. I also recommend looking into Excalibur Solutions STEM Academy. I will leave a link to both of those in the description below. If your child is interested in building computers, my husband recommended letting them learn by assembling computers from parts, watching PC build guides, and maybe budgeting so they can buy their own parts and build a computer. He recommended PCPartPicker.com as a great website that will help you plan and price out a custom PC. And I'm sure there are many YouTube channels for tech hardware reviews that you can check out. Finally, if your child is interested in streaming, my husband recommended to just let them try it out for fun. Obviously set clear online safety guidelines and maybe pick up some basic affordable gear to encourage them. Thank you, Josh, for those tips. All right, what do you do as a work at home job? I thought you stated in a past video that you work from home. Yes, so I kind of talked about this earlier. It really is a long story of how I got from teaching math to what I do now. The short story is that I have an LLC with my husband and work on my websites / content creation as a job. I always hesitate calling it a job because it's not a typical job. It just sounds funny to me, but I don't know what else to call it. It's more than a hobby at this point. I run my t-shirt shop. I run my 2 blogs, blessedhomeschool.com and techiehomeschoolmom.com, and an online homeschool curriculum directory. So I put in about 20 hours a week of work on all of this, and that includes a variety of things. Blog posts, my email newsletter, answering emails, working with sponsors for content, managing the curriculum directory, writing projects for sponsors, YouTube, and all that encompasses creating printables and digital courses, etc. So it is work, but I do enjoy it so much, and I'm so thankful to be able to do this for work and help other homeschooling parents in a lot of different ways. Okay, finally, the last one isn't really a question, but a request for more fitness content, please. And they mentioned they're enjoying the homeschool prayer weekly. Thank you so much for the kind words about that. I have loved being able to share prayers and encouragement with you through my homeschool prayer challenge. As far as fitness content, I would love to share more, but sometimes I'm not sure what to share, to be honest. I have done a few week of workouts videos. I'm kind of a creature of habit though, so my workouts don't tend to change much, but I would certainly be happy to share more of those if there was interest. Many of you know I used to teach fitness classes. I still may go back and do that again someday. I really do miss it, but I just don't have time right now. But I had my AFA certification for many years and am currently body pump and RPM certified through Les Mills. I also just really love fitness. I love running, love encouraging other moms to make fitness a priority. But there are so many things in this area that I don't think I can call myself an expert in. So I struggle with what or how much to share sometimes. But absolutely, please leave me a comment if you like the week of workouts, or if there's something else that you can think of that you might like to see. Otherwise, I will consider that, rack my brain on that a little bit more. Okay, guys, that's it for the questions. Thank you so much for everyone who took the time to throw one my way, to ask about my wrist, and even just being here watching and engaging with my channel. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, liking, or leaving a comment for me. It really helps channels when you engage with the content, so thank you so much for your support these past couple of years. My calendar is filled with content I want to make for you guys, but this has set me back a little bit. I'm hoping that I will be back to regular function soon and can work on some of these things, but it definitely has been challenging to do the normal life stuff this past week and have the motivation for it. My house feels like a mess. I have more curriculum boxes that I have not opened, and even a bunch of clothes from Amazon that came in last week that I have not felt like opening, never mind trying on. So I will hopefully be back later next week or the week after with some new content for you guys. Last thing I want to mention is that I have a giveaway running this month on my blog. I will leave a link in the description below, but I'm partnering with Not Consumed Ministries to give away their brand new Faithfulness Series Bible Study Bundle. This includes 5 new Bible studies for your kids. So you'll want to get in on this. Make sure to check out that link below. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.